I want you to think back for a moment about the years 2016 and 2017. Remember the buzz? Every conference, every tech blog, every vendor was talking about one thing: chatbots. They were the future, autonomous, intelligent, ready to handle all your customer service. And here we are today. What is everyone talking about now? Of course, AI agents. Autonomous, intelligent, ready to handle all your business tasks. If you're feeling a sense of déjà vu, you definitely should be, because we are watching the exact same movie play out all over again. And today I'm going to show you what's really going on with the AI agent hype. We will look at why the impressive demos feel so different from the frustrating reality. And then we will explore why the technology itself breaks so easily. And then we will expose the gold rush that sprung up around it. And here's the key piece of data that changes the whole conversation. Gartner predicts that by 2027, a full 40% of all AI agents projects will be cancelled. That's a staggering number for something that's supposed to be the future, right? So the real question isn't if you should be thinking about agents, it's how do you avoid becoming part of that 40% statistics. And I'm sure by now you know how this usually happens. It's kind of a magic trick. You are shown a video or live demo about AI agents, and it's truly impressive. Someone types a prompt like analyze our top competitors' recent marketing and summarize their strategy. And off it goes. Browsing, thinking, writing, all happens at once inside of those agents. It feels like you're watching how the future of productivity unfolds. But then you get your hands on it. You try to point it at something real inside of your company's data. Not a clean, predictable website, but a messy, chaotic internal database, for example. Or a cloud storage filled with inconsistently named files. And suddenly the magic trick falls apart. The agent gets stuck in a loop. It misunderstands a simple instruction. It makes up an information it retrieved from a file which doesn't even exist. And this isn't just a bug. This is the huge gap between the controlled demonstration and the chaotic nature of a real-world work with AI agents. The truth is, these agentic workflows are often built like a house of cards. They look incredible as long as every card is perfectly placed or aligned, or as long as the wind doesn't blow. But your business isn't a quiet room. It's a storm of unexpected problems, inputs, and constant change. And usually, if you're trying to make something that breaks easily, like this house of cards, considerably stronger, this reveals a much more fundamental weakness. So when you look inside of many of these agent platforms, you don't find a true reasoning intelligence. Instead, what you find is an incredibly elaborate, yet fragile chain of prompts. It's a series of commands stitched together, hoping for the best. And this is why AI agents are so brittle. One little unexpected change, for example, an API update, or a website you try to crawl changes its layout. Or, for example, information inside of PDF rendered as table instead of a text, and the whole chain just shatters. The agent stops because it doesn't actually understand the tasks it tries to accomplish. It only understands the steps it was told to follow. I've heard from developers who say debugging these systems is like trying to fix a giant tangled knot. One person on Reddit even called these platforms a spaghetti mess, and that's honestly the perfect description. It's not intelligent, it's just complicated. And this is exactly this gap in AI agents between the illusion of intelligence and the reality of a complex, brittle script that has created an almost unbelievable market opportunity. And you know, whenever there is a gold rush, the first people to get rich are the ones selling the shovels. The market for AI agents is projected to hit over $47 billion. Yet at the same time, we have studies showing a failure rate as high as 98% on common office tasks performed by AI agents. And doesn't it remind you a chatbot playbook? Remember, in 2017, consulting firms and new startups rushed in to sell chatbot solutions. Today, it's just AI agents implementation. They promise transformation, but what many are selling is access to the same brittle tools wrapped in a new layer of marketing. And this is exactly why it's smart to be a little doubtful right now. When the vendor promises you a tireless, high-performing teammate working fully autonomously, you need to ask what happens when that teammate gets a task it wasn't perfectly trained for. And that's exactly where the two stories, the chatbot of the past and the AI agent of the present, fit together. And that 40% cancellation rate that Gartner predicted, it all makes sense right now. It's not a reflection on the potential of AI. It's the crash that always happens after a time of huge excitement. Companies are buying into the promise, but they will eventually cancel the projects involving AI agents because of the reality they are facing. And I believe that the chatbot of 2017 and the AI agent of 2025 are the same character in different costume. Both promise true autonomy. Both delivered a frustratingly brittle experience in the real world. And both created a mad rush for money for consultants. And this is exactly what you need to be thinking today as a leader in AI. In 2017, every company felt they needed a chatbot. A year or two later, most of them were quietly removed from their websites. Today, the pressure is on to have an AI agent, but history is giving you a playbook. You don't have to make the same mistakes. And you know, the history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly does rhyme. And the lesson from the last hype bubble wasn't that automation is a bad idea. It was that the hype is a very dangerous investment strategy. So if this conversation was a helpful dose of reality, subscribe to this channel. I'm here to give you the strategic perspective you need to actually lead in the age of AI, not just follow the hype. Cheers.